Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. Let's talk about anterior open bites and how to be your detective, to how to be a detective for your patient and how to find out what's causing it so that you can fix it. Or perhaps you just don't want to take that case if it's too tricky. Maybe you just want to learn to avoid cases like this, but you shouldn't just blanket statement say I don't take any anterior open bites, because sometimes they're not as hard as you think. Sometimes they're just an interference and they're not due to a habit. So let's talk a little bit more about how to avoid gotchas, how to avoid these tricks that happen in anterior open bite cases, how to pick the ones that you should be taking and how to stay away from the cases that you shouldn't be taking. So basically, you need to really be a detective and you need to learn how to be a detective with these anterior open bite cases. I think having an OMT on your side is probably the key to success until you start getting better on your own. Initially, partnering with an OMT, whether you train up somebody in your office, any dentist, or any hygienist can get trained as an OMT. It's a few-day course. Of course, they have to actually be interested in it. Otherwise, they're not going to be any benefit to your practice. But if you're going to do a lot of ortho, you kind of should have somebody doing this. Otherwise, you're going to need to partner with an OMT who is virtual. I have two that we work with in our practices that I refer to all the time. I don't get any kickbacks from them, but I know they're good. So, and unless you have one in your practice, which a lot of offices do now, you're going to need one occasionally. So OMT is a great way to learn, as well as just common sense. I mean, you can just look at the cases and kind of tell. And before I even say anything to a patient, I like to hear what they have to say first, because what they have to say is probably the most useful. And I know when I hear what they have to say if it's lying or not, because sometimes some stuff will be plausible and some stuff is just a flat out lie. And to be honest, kids and adults lie about habits the time, like all the time. It is very shameful for a lot of people. So I'm just assuming when I ask a habit question, and most of the time I'm gonna get a lie answer, So things to look at. So let's talk about what can cause anterior open bites. You can go through all the content I have on anterior open bites. I probably have dozens of pieces of content, and you should. So go into my channel to get the background, put in anterior open bite, watch every video I've ever made. A lot of it might be redundant. Obviously it can be external things like fingers, stuffed animals, pencils, pens, thumbs, blankets, shirts, that type of thing, toys. And it can be internal, meaning that the habit is something that's happening during the day, maybe your tongue, or at night, maybe mouth breathing or blocked nose, therefore mouth breathing. So they might not even know they have a habit. So you can't just say, do you have a habit? Because I can guarantee you will not get the correct answer. So don't bother asking. You can ask if anything goes in the mouth that isn't food, ever, daytime, nighttime. Well, you're probably not gonna get the honest answer on that. Anytime I see something that's like projected out like this, this is either trauma, which could cause an anterior open bite. Yeah, trauma could have caused it. Or it's a finger or a thumb or a stuffed animal, or it's possible this could be like a mesiodens or something, and maybe that's why it's sticking out. But yeah, obviously take an x-ray and count your teeth. But something's going in there for sure. I like to look at cephs when I look at anterior open bites, because the inclination of the incisors gives me some clue of how and what's going in. So if they're inclined like out this way, it's more likely to be a tongue. It's unlikely to be a finger, because a finger would cause these to retrocline and these to procline. So that's usually how the finger goes in, or fingers or thumbs usually. It's very rare that you see procline lower incisors with a finger or a digit habit or anything external. It tends to be more internal. Mouth breathing, blocked nose, tongue thrust, or all of the above. This one where you've got the upright incisors, this is probably not a finger, or even could be a tongue. It could be a low tongue. But in this case, it's more likely to be an interference with the molars, which can happen as well. In this case, you can see the reverse smile line, right? Did it up, did it down. That's not how the smile line's supposed to go, right? So same thing here. Ooh, and this, ooh, and this. So in all these cases, every single one of these, I can pretty much tell you what's happening. Depending, I mean, it's hard to tell just from this photo and these aren't the same patient, right? But you gotta basically take a look. I mean, this small hole is a tongue thrust. This is a tongue thrust that's unilateral. This I can't tell from the side. It's either a tongue thrust or a finger or a thumb. This is either a finger or a thumb. Sometimes it starts with a finger or a thumb, and then later it becomes a tongue thrust because they create the opening or the hole, and then, in order to make a seal, to swallow or to breathe, they have to stick their tongue to block that hole that they already created, which further perpetuates the hole even bigger. So it can start with something, and maybe it's true. Maybe they don't do fingers and thumbs anymore. Maybe they did when they were little, but now it's being perpetuated because it already started, right? So these are all things you just need to think about. In this case, I mean, this is more of a lower issue than an upper issue. A little bit upper reverse smile line, a little bit lower reverse smile line. So this could be like a pencil or a pen. It's probably not a finger because the space isn't big enough, but it could. And this could totally be a pencil or a pen. So all kind of things to think about. Just keep that in mind. Obviously, I like to take Cephs to take a look at it. I like to do an OMT screening. I have the Ferris form, which we use. I like to do a sleep disorder breathing screening. You just got to learn to just watch the patient. Just by listening and watching them when they talk, you can see tongue thrusts that happen during the day. I mean, if you film them, I'll see it. It looks like a little snake. And you can hear lisping sounds, and you can hear blocked noses when they talk. You don't even need to really see it. You can hear them. So those type of things should be pretty obvious to you. You probably don't need an OMT to see that. But the things that are happening at night, those are a little bit trickier. But it's pretty unlikely that you're going to get an open bite this big, or even this big, or this big, or this big, or even this, with just tongue thrusting or mouth breathing at night. It's got to be happening during the day as well. I mean, that big, I'm not saying guaranteed, but pretty unlikely. So take the time to watch your patient. That's all I want to say when they're in the chair. All right, thanks.